Hello everyone, and today's episode is a talk I did very recently with a new app, new audio platform. It's called Wisdom, and this is the talk I did with along with the Wisdom community, right? So you can expect me talking about the winning odds of making a living, following your passion. Along with that, there were few guests, random guests joined. It was Mr. Rao and Simon. We had a brief interaction, so you can listen to that as well. And hope you're all doing well. Yeah, please do listen to it. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Aravind, and I'm 32 years old, and I'm currently working as a HR practitioner with an MNC in India. And I really hope that whoever you are, I hope you're all doing well. And now I've had the opportunity to work in hospitality for around 6 years. So, I'll give you a brief introduction of myself so that you understand what you can expect and you can unjoin if you feel like this doesn't serve you, right? So that's one thing, and we'll see if anyone's willing to join later on as well. And I'm just sharing the live talk, to some of my friends. If they're willing to join, they can join, and we'll have an interaction with them as well, right? And yes, so yeah, I have had the opportunity to work in hospitality for around 6 years. I really enjoyed it, and I did my PG diploma in computing. Moreover, I run a podcast with four different shows. So in the podcast, we'll be covering book reviews, story narrations, and an audio blog around my experiences and expertise, and also a Q&A show where that's called Talking Optimism, in which I've been hosting a few of my friends so far. So I'll be asking them questions regarding their experience and expertise, and we'll listen to their perspective and knowledge, right? And lately, I've been fascinated by the developments that are happening in the Web3 world, and you know, created a few of the art collectibles and as NFTs, right? So a lot of them, 90% of the world still not aware of what NFT is, but again, there is a growing majority of people are getting to understand what blockchain is and what NFTs are, and most artists and musicians are getting into that craft. Now, the best part of is my whole experience with this is that the art collectibles, virtual art collectibles, I created are nothing but the drawings of characters from my storybooks. So I've written some storybooks, and so I've drawn the characters of those storybooks, and I kept them as I minted them as NFTs. Now, the best part, as I said, is drawing the characters and writing the storybooks. Uh, I wrote a storybook that's meant for kids over 10 years, I believe, and I really believe that it's a good one. It's all about a kid influencer, and the story is about the kid influencer and her pet dog, and on social media, and how they helped the family sustain well with all the fame and financials they're attaining with all the fame on social media. Now, the Kindle version of the book is available, and the paperback is under review. So, hopefully, it will be available from Monday. And that's my journey so far. And coming to the topic, today again we'll be talking about the winning odds of making a living following your passion in 2022. So, I went brief. I was talking about the same topic in my last talk. So we had few people join, and I was not able to invite them as guests because of my settings. Uh, but today, so that's the reason I came up with the same topic, and I think it is a good topic to talk about, and it helps a lot of people who are started their journey into their passion and struggling or thinking about quitting, right? So I think this helps them. And now I'll be sharing my thoughts that are rooted from my experiences, right? Personal experiences. And we'll have guests and that are going to share their passion and how they are making financial gains out of their passion and the stories and the struggles and why it's worth to take this route, right? Now, let's jump into the topic. Now, we have six guests. First of all, I just want to say hi to you all. Thank you so much for joining today. And again, it's my second talk. I come from India, so I don't speak English. I mean, I was not born speaking English, so I hope uh, what I'm saying is making sense and understandable to you at least. So hopefully, if you're interested, I'll pull you into the conversation and we'll talk about it as well. So now we are living in a world that's completely developed compared to last 2 decades, right? So I say developed, but because compared to last 2 decades, I mean, if you see, if you go back to 1970s, nobody has the internet, especially the people from the random people. I mean, especially from the India. I mean, if you take my example, internet was a privilege even in the 90s. So now it's available everywhere. So now you can speak and connect and communicate with people all over the globe. So that's we still take it for granted, and I believe that is very very important. We don't, if we not take that for granted. And Ryan Allen wants to, okay, yeah, I'll come back to that. And yes, so if you don't take that for granted and start communicating around your interests, and you can start making a living out of it, because ultimately all you need is people to be able to sustain well, friends, family. And the more people you interact with and the more people you're good to, and the more people you're kind to, the better things will happen to you. So that's, I really really believe in. Right now, when it comes to passion, what do I mean by passion? I mean, you can be into painting or writing or photography, speaking, like what I did, hospitality, working in a restaurant, or web development, or creating content for social media, online gaming. It could be anything. If you're into the craft, we have plenty of opportunities in 2022, and I do really want you to believe that. And all we have to do is we need to know how to get there, how to turn your passion into a financial uh, utility, right? Now, when it comes to how to turn your passion into a service that provides you money to live and to feed the family, so I'll start with sharing my experience, my story. So yeah, as I said, I did my computing. I did my master's in computing. So you can expect that I'm into computing and all. But during my stay in Ireland, so that's where it's all changed. I was doing my studies. Along with that, I started working in a restaurant. It was an Indian restaurant. We had delicious food. So I started working as a waiter, because to support myself. And once I started doing it, I really, really fell in love with my job. So my role, particularly. So my role allowed me to speak to people because I came from India. I badly wanted to be able to speak English, because so that I'll get a job. So that's mandatory, right? So with that role, with that job, I was able to speak to people, interact with people, learn about their culture, um, and speak better, do well in my college, in my exams, right? So so that's how we started off well. And I was a waiter, so there were a lot of beautiful guests. Uh, they're all supportive. And later on, as I started doing more and more of the work in hospitality, I really thought that okay, this is what I really want to do for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life, I mean to say. So even though I was doing computing, there was a lot of money. Uh, there was a lot of money at stakes for the course, as well as when you become a programmer or something like that, you will be. I mean, you will be. I mean, when I'm doing my masters, there is a promise that you'll make a lot of money. But I thought, okay, ending up on a desk, not be able to talk to people, working with a computer. I respect the job, but again, I thought, okay, it doesn't suit me well. I'm really enjoying this job, so I'll continue. I'll keep on doing this. So later on, I became the manager of the place. It took me 4 years. I was doing this, and I became the manager of the place, and I was leading a team, helping them. I mean, do well in their role. So organizing the stuff. So it was a managerial role. So from my experience, I did my 6 years of that job, and all of my friends got into computing. They're earning a lot of money, a lot more than I was getting at the time. But when it comes to satisfaction and the zeal, the enthusiasm, when you start doing your passion, when you start doing a job that you really really love, I'm sure that you will end up in a better place at all times. When you truly care about, when you truly love your job, you will grow. That's for sure. That's what I learned from my experience. And for you, if anyone's into painting or writing, as I said, any other craft, so I would like to compare to my last talk. I was only informing about my experience, right? So today, I just want to cover a few things that I really think matters if you're starting your career, or if you're following your passion, if you're thinking of quitting your job, or that's you really not enjoying for a long time. So education is really really important, whether it's painting or writing or photography or speaking, hospitality, anything, any craft. Education is very very important. I really prefer you to educate yourself. At the same time, it doesn't need to be formal. You doesn't need to go to uh, that big university, and you don't need to pay a lot of money to them. In 2022, I really believe that you can take up any course online. You can search for it. You can just type it on Google, and you will see a lot of resources available to you in that course, in that craft you want to get better at. Now, I don't hate formal education, but again, I believe that they're too much when it comes to the price is too much. Everyone cannot afford to do a master's degree in something, right? But in my experience, I did my master's. So from my experience, I can say that the only difference between a formal education or an online course that you see on LinkedIn or Coursera or Udemy is that when you go to college and do your master's or do your bachelor's, do your diploma, what you end up getting is knowledge, of course, from the college, and there'll be plenty of resources. Along with that, you get a community, like a bunch of people that are thriving in the same direction, that have capabilities to help you or guide you, learn along with you. So that's what you're majorly getting. Once you're out of the college, you don't only have the certificate with you, you have a bunch of people, bunch of connections, a lot of people, a lot of friends, so that you can fall back on. While you're job searching, you can do that together. And while you don't need to feel, I mean, that'll make you feel less alone, right? So you have plenty of community along with you. So the only way, taking up a course, an online course, that can match that level of what do you call comfort, or that level of uh, benefits, you can do that. I mean, there is a possibility. That's what I really believe. So I'll give you an example. So when I started writing, so I'll take a generic examples. So if someone wants to make a career out of their passion in photography, so they can go to a college, they can take up a course, they have plenty of students along with them, they have mentors, they have a library, so they have all these resources, right? But again, you have to pay a lot. Now, if you take up an online course for free on LinkedIn or or Udemy or Coursera, all these online courses. Once you start taking the course, I believe that you can take the course and learn knowledge, and there'll be a lot of resources as well. Along with that, I really suggest you to go to events around your passion. Go to online, attend online events, offline events, right? So, and I'm telling you that there are plenty of events that are free, so they don't have any price or tickets. So more a lot of them are free, even Eventbrite or a lot of sites you can hang on. So once you start attending events around that craft, you will be surrounded with the community that are into the craft, right? So if you're into photography, you went to, let's say, an event a, a day, or in 2 days, or 3 or 4 events in like 7 days in a week. At least in 3 months, you'll end up with, once you go to attend an event, you take at least 10 contacts, the people who are interested in the craft. They can be like people your age or elder. So out of 3 months, you can come up with at least 10 or 30. So let's say 30 into 4, 120, 120 into 3. So 360. So within 3 months, you'll have 360 people in your contact list that are into same craft. So that you can only get by attending college. Rather than that, I suggest you to attend an event, a free event, and make those contact lists. Now, contact lists are very much important if you want to get into a job. I'm currently working as a HR, right? So in my experience, again, plenty of jobs. There are plenty of jobs, and plenty of jobs happen. I mean, job seekers will get jobs. There will be 70%, most of the time 70% of the jobs are happening through networking. So if there is a HR, they'll be posting it on their social media, and their friends and their inner circle knows about the role, and they'll be applying for the job. So there'll be references and all. So networking is a key concept when it comes to getting into the craft you love, whether it's a job or you want to start your own firm. It's all about networking. You need contacts. So education is important. So network along with that, start networking, and create a big contact list that you can fall back on. You can ask for help, and you can collaborate, right? So it's basically, it may not happen in a day or month. I really want you to be patient. All you need to do is like learn the craft and start doing it, networking with people and collaborating. And sometimes, what I really also believe in is that work for free at times. I mean, when you work for free, it might not give you financial sustainability, but it'll provide you the enough. It'll provide you enough value and attention. You will be known to more people in that craft, or people who are trying to hire or looking to hire someone. So you can end up getting an opportunity, because value and attention in your craft is important as well, as much as the money you're making out of it. So that's what I really believe in, and I just want to see if anyone wants to join. And first of all, I just want to thank everyone for listening. So, Anya, Reyes, and John, thank you so much. Ismail, thank you so much. Clint, thank you so much. And Dr. Rao is there. Thank you so much, sir. And CJ Inspires, thank you so much for listening. And Joyce McKeever, thank you so much. And Jenny, Don Roos, Mirado Jr., Joshua, apologies if I'm pronouncing them wrong, pronounce your names wrong. Sorry about that. Yeah. So, to sum it up again from myself, from my end, so there are great amount of winning odds to be able to sustain a healthy living following your passion. And how to do that is, if you're starting, you need to understand what you're into, right? You could be into any craft. So whether it's painting or writing or photography, speaking, hospitality, web development, creating content for social media, online gaming, or offline gaming, it could be anything, right? So you should know what you're into. Once you know your passion, and you need to be patient, and it doesn't happen in a single day or a month, it might take a little bit time. All I would suggest you to do that, out of my experience, is take up a course, an online course, which doesn't ask you to pay a lot of money, right? If most of, I mean, a free course doesn't need to be less in quality. I came across plenty of great courses on Coursera, LinkedIn, like uh, all these websites, all these uh, available on the internet. So there are plenty of free courses that are really, really worth. So they'll provide you the knowledge. So you take up the course and you learn the craft, you understand it. Along with that, I would like you to network with people. So go to events, attend events that are into the craft, that are happening in that particular craft, and create a good contact list. Like, make a contact list, network with people. And again, networking is not, it's, I mean, there's plenty of negative thinking, or there are a lot of people that doesn't understand how networking works, right? So networking is not self-serving. Some people think that it's self-serving when you go to meet a friend or attend the event expecting anything out of it, but it's really not self-serving. In fact, once you start networking, once you meet people, you're helping them, at the same time they're helping you. You're looking for an opportunity, at the same time they need a person who can do that, who can do the job, right? So there'll be entrepreneurs, or if you go there as an entrepreneur, if you have a firm, you look out for the people who can do the job for you. So it's never self-serving, it's always win-win situation for everyone. So eliminate that, uh, eliminate the belief that networking is self-serving. So attend events, start interacting with people, ask them what are the challenges they're facing in the same craft, so that educate yourself along with the normal along with the knowledge you have achieved from learning, I mean, going through the course. You know what's happening in that craft practically, like by speaking to people, what's exactly happening in their life, in their career. You understand, okay, the uh, real world struggles that and real world challenges that are there in that craft, and see if you can acknowledge them by upskilling yourself and be able to solving the problem, right, of that particular firm or particular person. So collaborate with people and make a contact list first of all. Once you have like around 300, I want you to, if you're really into something and you're not able to do it, so I do suggest that, create a contact list, the people you meet in the same craft, attend events, at least 300 people. Once you have that contact list, I'm sure that you'll end up getting a good opportunity. Once you are once you're collaborating with them, sometimes you, you can work for free if there is enough value and attention, right? So that's what I suggest to. And and I really think if anyone's willing to join, yeah, please do join, share your story and share your perspective, experience, and you know how you how you how you were into a craft and how you got a job, and you know uh, how you're sustaining it. So share your story, jump in and join and share your story, like your struggle. I do have a show that's called Talking Optimism, where I actually did few interviews, right? We had like six guests on the show. It's like each of them are like 20 minutes or 30 minutes episode. So where I asked them all these questions regarding their expertise and experience, and what I do is uh, learn from them and listen to them, understand what are the challenges they're facing, because we know that every craft in all the crafts there are a lot of challenges we are facing every day and we are overcoming them. So when you start talking about your challenges and how you overcame it, you're certainly, I believe that you're certainly helping someone in the same craft thinking of quitting, or thinking negatively, or not really optimistic about it. So, so that's why I call Talking Optimism, where we ask the guest speakers the tough questions. So, yeah, we have Dr. Rao here. Thank you so much. We'll be asking the questions and hopefully listen to the perspective. How are you, sir? How are you doing?
Hi, Aravind. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking.
Yeah,
So, you're my first guest on the platform. Thank you so much.
very good. Welcome to Wisdom app.
Thanks a lot. Thanks again. How are you doing
I,
today?
yeah, I agree with this. Got to follow your heart. Your what is in the what you really passionately feel about. I didn't say think about, feel about. That
Yeah,
really gives you a tendency that you can pursue, and then you will be more happy and more in flow, more in ease, and also joyful living. All those are possible. And then this worldwide expansion of everything, this is much more easier now to follow these things on the web. The chances have really increased if you look at it. But the thing is, you don't want to be conditioned by everybody's thinking. You got to be original, and you got to really follow, even if it is not like a gaining some material things. If you follow what is in your heart, I think you have done half the battle. Otherwise, people are trying to think through things, do things, and then they're burning out. But if you follow what is in your heart, even if the external circumstances are difficult, it's a much more happier life. Maybe you won't have that many material things, but you'll have inner happiness. I'm all about inner riches. I talk about
that's
that
yeah,
quite a lot.
that's great.
So yeah, so
Yeah,
that's what I
thank you
wanted
so
to
much.
say, Arvind. So
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I do understand. I mean, I'm really with you, and when you're doing what you really love and you're passionate about, so
yeah,
you do end up going to live healthy, I believe.
yeah. Not only that, but if you look at your inward journey, and then if you
Mhm.
look at what you are doing from childhood, child may want to do something, but the parents wants commercial way, and that happens quite in India. Not only
Exactly.
here also, but in India too. So they want them a doctor or engineer just because there's money in it, and now then the software engineer, something like that. But then the kid may not have the aptitude or the talent or inclination towards that, and he may have something completely different. That's when the test comes out, and when the parents are not socially conditioned, they can see the happiness of kid lies in what he wants to do. I did that with my son. He was musically inclined. Just because I'm a doctor, I have a big clinic. Everybody thought he would become a doctor and he will go there. I never pressed him for that. I identified that he was a musician. At the age 2 years, he was able to sing a Hindi song, which he doesn't know at all Hindi, right? But then he sang very well. Then we know that he has this musicality in him. And then he picked up trumpet and he did very well. And he is doing very well on his own terms in terms of teaching kids and all that. He's a band teacher now, but also he plays trumpet. So that's where you can discover joy. There's a lot to discover joy in so many things. It's not just yaping everybody and then going and doing some things just for the money. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say.
And
Welcome to you,
thank you so
Aravind.
much, sir.
Yeah,
You're welcome. Thank you so much. And
yeah,
and as I said, I really want to say that the story you shared with us today, that's the most inspiring story I heard today, because the it's really important. As you said, parenting is a parenting is important, and the way you parent your kids means a lot, and the way you did with your son really is I mean helpful for me, or people who are listening, I believe. So if you we have 5 minutes, I think, if you're fine, I'll ask you one question, one simple question, if that's okay.
sure, sure.
Yeah. So the question I really want you to ask is, I was asking the same question for to people, to my friends on the guest, to my friends on the podcast. So during this COVID, during this pandemic, so what did you experience during this whole pandemic scenario where we have? What kept you motivated every day when things are not going really well?
Yeah. See, I'm a physician, so I'm also epidemiology interested physician too. So I was following epidemics and everything since 1980s, when the HIV broke through and all that. Also, I'm a yoga practitioner, so I'm very interested in increasing natural immunity of my patients, my family, and myself, and all that, right? So I'm kind of a old hat in that. So I was able to
Okay,
contribute in a significant
great.
way to the COVID epidemic, not just in the United States where I am, but also around the world. In India, also, when the second wave struck, I was very active raising funds and providing oxygen cylinders and lots of things, right? So we were very actively involved, and actually we didn't have any sleep at the time because India's daytime is our night time, and we were working there, and then daytime we were working here and all that. But it was a very important phase, though, so I got involved. I'm like that too, and
All right.
I am a uh, inward looking student, so for me have much more chance of staying with that kind of thing and really understand who I am and come from that. So erasing the ego and being our real self, that is the thing I always talk about. And then I conducted a lot of seminars on the Zoom so that people can get the not only COVID scientific information as it was developing. I was very actively involved with the scientific community, WHO, JCH, and all that. So whatever the treatment, whatever the changes in policy, or whatever the spread, where it is going, and all that, I kept people updated with my daily meetings here in Clubhouse, and Wisdom was not there at the time, but other places
Yes.
too, Instagram and all. And I also do yoga every day, and I have a routine where I kind of have my own spiritual readings of Ramana Maharshi, our ancient Indian philosophy in a big way. So I am bringing that to that ancient wisdom plus modern medicine to the community here in the United States, the company called BA PAL. But then I gained a lot of Singapore, Australia, UK, and all those people following me on my Instagram when I'm doing a yoga. So I gained a lot of friends and admirers and followers. That's okay. See, what motivates me is the ancient
Yes.
wisdom taught me how to really approach suffering, right? So I was able to really help people who are suffering both physically, mentally, and psychologically too. For example, India had this wonderful Sanskrit slokas that are really put in a certain musical scale. But if you can do that, you will have the mind stationed in there, so you will not be worried about what is coming up, or you will not worry what is going, what happened in the past. So I teach what's called be in the present all
Be in
the
the
time,
present.
and
That's good.
also have a mind that is stable. So my meditativeness is not just doing some meditation sitting down. It's like understanding the whole process and being meditative all the time. That means being in the state of meditation rather than just the act of meditation. So all these skills, all these things that I learned for myself and I was sharing with my family and friends, I was able to share to everybody. And also I always said internal versus external. Epidemic gave the chance for a lot of people to stay home, and either they can get bored with whatever they cannot do, or they can focus on their internal nature and understand themselves and come out with much more capacity of resilience to face the external circumstances. So it's like a growing inwardly, gaining resilience, and facing the external circumstances. I was able to do that with share that with a lot of people.
That's great. I mean, yeah, it was nice listening to you. I mean, growing inwardness and building resilience and facing the external
Yeah,
consequences or circumstances.
yeah,
That's a,
that's
that's a very good mantra, and I'll definitely
yeah.
do that.
Yeah, I
I'll try
have
to
this
do that for
company
sure.
called Be a Pal. That is where
Be,
I do all these activities, comprehensive self care for burnout and stress reduction for the IT professionals, especially, and then servant leadership training.
yes. Uh, Thank you so much, and I think we can join Mr. Rao again. But again, as you were speaking, I was like thinking a lot. I was really, really happy to speak. Oh, yeah, he's again. We have Mr. Rao again.
Yeah, I just want to
Yes,
finish what I was saying, Arvind. So,
yes, please.
so
I
this
really wanted to ask you as well.
yeah, this company is providing online services is make me more busy, and then my clinic also did not get many patients in the epidemic because of the everybody was afraid to come to the clinic, but
Yes,
that was okay. I kind of expanded myself to larger audiences, and now I made Ashish Vidyarthi is somebody who is my friend and student too, but he also exposed me to his followers with the talks and all that. So I had a very fruitful endemic time because I was really able to share
you're able to
whatever I'm
serve
doing.
people and
Yeah,
share your knowledge and
yeah,
yeah, make a change in people's lives
yeah, yeah.
with your knowledge and expertise. That's really great to know.
You have any other
Yes,
questions, Aravind? Otherwise, you can invite somebody else to talk to you.
I'll have another question. I'll ask you another question. Thank you so much. So uh, the question, my question to you is, as you said, you're a physician and you're into medical. So in your vicinity, so what are the biggest challenges you're facing today, and how are you planning to overcome them?
Yeah, my
If you can
biggest
share with
challenge
us.
is I worked in the medical field more than 40 years now, right? And then I
Yeah.
seen mostly we give importance to the illness. After it happens, we treat people. That's okay. But my thing was, how can I prevent people being illness and how can they leave them in wellness? Because I'm as a yoga practitioner, I teach people to be strong in their body, flexible in their body, and being mentally alert and have a loving, compassionate heart and have joy in your job, in your life, in your relationships, whatever you do. So I've kind of developed programs for that so that they can identify the illness is very early. We have a lot of workup we can do. Even for the cancer, we can detect very early. So I pushed them very, very importantly. And then once they are really protecting their health, this is come from prakriti. You have to maintain your own prakriti, that means natural energies of your body and mind. Then you will have more easier time in life rather than just ignoring things, and then when they become too much, then you want to go to the doctor, spend a lot of money, and then also you may not be able to get it back. So don't lose the health. That's my message. That's what I'm trying to do. Other thing, most important one, that is the wellness. One important thing I'm working on all over the world. And second thing is planet. The way the planet is threatened, I'm very occupied with that. Not to use the plastic, conserve the water, conserve the electricity, go for this, electric vehicles, or solar and
Yes.
all that. In every way, plant, I'm big time involved. These are the two ambitions that I have: wellness and planet protection.
Okay, so yes, so that are those are the challenges we are all facing collectively. Yes, and that's your challenges as well. Thank you so much.
Okay,
So
I'll see you around
sure,
then.
thank you so much. Thanks for joining and sharing your insight. It was great listening to you. I was thinking about, yes, there was a pandemic, global pandemic. Everyone is going through a lot of things, and there is an increase in domestic violence. So as he said, it's all about inner well-being. Once you are doing well, you will be able to face the circumstances as well as build your resilience, uh, and face everything is outside, right? So external circumstances. So that was a great message, and thank you so much again. So we are talking about the odds of making a living, following your passion 22, and I really want to take some time and thank you each and everyone for joining today. We had Mr. Rao, and he kindly shared his expertise and experience with all of us. And if someone wants to join, yeah, please do. Come on in. So, my the theme was simple. So I believe that uh, your passion, and if you start working in your role and in your dream role, once you start working in your dream role, I believe that it helps you grow, even though there is not much financial upside. We have another guest today. So we have Jason today. Hi, Jason. So Jason joining, Jason connecting now. Hi, Jason. How are you
CGITV,
doing?
thank goodness a second. How are you? I'm really good. I'm about an 8.5 out of 10. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you so much. So, Jason, yeah, could you please share with us your what's your passion and uh, how
Okay,
you're
my
focused.
passion, my passion is communicating. To help people, really communicating about peace, freedom, and love. Through poetry in poetic ways, also in English and in French. That's my passion.
Wow. I mean, I'm impressed. I'm all into it. I'm all ears. So yes, please. So what I just want you to ask you is, if there is who's not really experienced, who's young, who just your
You
advice.
cut out. Somebody that's not experienced and young, and then you cut out.
Someone young who's into the same craft and who's just starting and who has the same ambition as you. So what would be your suggestion? So to basically grow in that career, so make a living pursuing the passion. So what are the options and what are the odds and what are working for you as well as what do you think work? If
Okay,
you can
great.
please.
This is my specialty, so thank you. I've been doing this since 1999. I
Oh,
was in
that's great.
University of Toronto. University of Toronto. I finished working at Microsoft Canada, double work term. Okay, and Bill Gates came to talk to us, and I said, "Oh, first I thought, okay, I want to do the same thing." So I thought the best way to do it, and I was there on scholarship, and I was a gifted kid. So said the best way to do it is to begin with the end in mind. One of the 7 habits of highly effective people. So you write your target resume. That's the first
Hmm.
step. The target resume is what is defined as what you want your resume to look like when you're done working. Okay, so I say 120, so I don't limit anybody's lifespan. So it's begin with the end in mind. So say, for instance, right, you want to set up a company, run a company. You say, okay, what would be the ideal? Like when I'm 120 or when I'm 75, when I'm 80, right? So I said the ideal would be it does everything for free, right? That's just me. And I said I won't charge. Then I had to do other things, obviously. So I worked at Microsoft when I graduated, right? And I said it was the ideal, do everything for free, but I limited my power, right? Because I didn't want to be like a billionaire when so people were poor and be all about money and worshiping money. Because I was I started reading about in 1986. So I said, okay, I limited my share. So it's one share, right? But that's whatever your dream is, it's the beginning with the end in mind. So then the second step, okay, and I said, okay, what's the highest degree? Honorary doctorates. So I said, I don't even have to go to the school. Like Bill Gates dropped out of Harvard, but then they still, after he set up Microsoft and it was big, and he did his foundation, it was big, they invited him back to do a kind of like valedictory address. I did my valedictory address in 96, right? It's at freespeech.org, but spelled PHRE. But he did his address even though he dropped out of Harvard because of what he accomplished. So I said, people that also like Nelson Mandela, Barack Obama, they also got Nobel Peace Prizes and stuff, right? So Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., people like, I'm not sure if Desmond Tutu won one, but I know that people like, what's her name? Mother Teresa, right? For
Yes.
increase of peace, right? So the thing is, you look at the end of your life, what would you like? It's just like some people say, write your obituary, but I do it as a resume because I was, a business student, right? It's like write your own obituary exercise, how you want to end up. So, right? So I said honorary doctorates in international development studies, right? Humanities, business, right? So that you don't even have to go to school, but because you do so much for the domain, for the field, they offer you a symbolic doctorate. And in fact, my favorite rapper, Lecrae, when I went to his concert at Canada Christian College about 3 or 4 years ago, before the pandemic, right? Because we had concerts, they gave him an honorary doctorate, even though he's just a rapper. But it's not just a rapper, but he's living his purpose, his dream. Okay, so Lecrae, I don't know if you heard of him, but he's a rapper. But the point is, he got an honorary doctorate. So I just set that as the highest goal, highest degree. I don't even have to go to the school. So, right, that's your target resume. Second step is then you start your main business stream, your main passion as a club. Right. The reason why you started as a club, people that have a business idea, they go out and register the business, but they don't know enough yet. You need to start it as a club. You can start out a clubhouse. You can start it I just started mine first thing as a club, Toronto Poets, for the Increase the Peace campaign. And they said, we help you rise. We help you to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. Right. So we did like over 100 Increase the Peace events. And then most of them were nights of talent, talk, and teaching. Right. So because I have like the talent of poetry and I like to talk, obviously now. Right. And
Yeah.
I like teaching. Right. So that was the whole plan. I put together the plan to get funding, and then we didn't get funding. But the plan, I got free restaurants to do our shows in Toronto, and I had an executive that came and served for free, and they learned about promoting, marketing, doing websites, and promoting online. Facebook, we had like the biggest Facebook group of its kind. Like we got 2,600 people quickly that came to our shows in the streets of Toronto and in Yonge Street, in a restaurant. People would come pay for the food. And then we talk about issues on a talk show. And then we had a DJ. And then I'd have somebody come in and do teaching. One person came in and taught on real estate, for instance. That was back in 2002 to 2010. But 2010, I had so much debt. So I paid off I sold my house to pay off the debts. And I started DreamDecadeChallenge.com in 2010. Then I started over with the Pence Power Club in 2011. And I said, it doesn't have to be a nonprofit that cost me my house. So I started off for profit. I did a different model. So I realized that I didn't read enough business books and get good mentors and coaches. So the third step is to read good business books and get good mentors and coaches. So they can look at your club and what you're doing and they give you advice. And by running your club, you'll meet the coaches and mentors, and you'll also network. You'll meet your club members, will be your investors, your customers, your shareholders, you'll meet everybody you need by going out there and doing it on the side, right? Because you might not be able to do it for money at first. So the fourth step is to do business planning, and there's apps for that. And you can talk to your mentors and your coaches about the business planning, right? And it's continual business planning, and there's apps for that. Then the fifth step is to work a strategic job, because you might not be able to do your passion right away. Toronto Post just cost me money. His Power Club just cost me money at first. So I still worked other jobs, right? So you work a strategic job. You might switch jobs so you can do your business on the dream on the side. You can do your passion on the side. So if you have it, I had a job, for instance, that it was like exclusive contract, full time. You weren't supposed to work on the side. So I had to switch jobs after doing that for 6 years. I had to switch jobs to a
So
job
that you
that
can follow
wasn't.
your passion. Yes.
Can you follow me?
Yes, I can. I mean,
Okay,
yeah.
so I had to
Please.
switch jobs so that I could do the business on the side. So, for instance, you might have a job where you can't, if they saw you doing a business, you get fired. So you switch jobs so you could do the business and do the on the side with your passion and do the job. And maybe they'd even help you. Maybe you'd meet people that want to help you on the side, right? Maybe they'd help you on the weekends or they help you in the evenings, and then they mentor you. And also, maybe they even give you a job because of all the thing you do for your passion, right? Because that helps me,
Yes.
because I learned about leadership. And I had people that, I had like 12 different executives at certain different times, right? I paid them with experience, and I paid them with coaching, and I helped them get a job. Some of them got references from me, and then they got bigger jobs, right? So the thing is, that's how you do it. And then the sixth step is, after you work the strategic job that allows you to build your business on the side, the sixth step, when you're making enough money and you know enough and done good enough business planning, you've gotten good enough advice from coaches and mentors, you might even have to pay a coach. When you've gotten to that point, then you register the business as a for-profit corporation, because then you'll know how to register it. You'll be able to pay for a lawyer, or you get enough advice so you'll know how to register it. You'll know how to do worry about it, focus on figuring out how to do the intellectual property. You'll know if you can do a partnership, or if you can do a limited. It's different places in the world have different types of corporations, but you'll know how to do it because you've done those other steps, right? And then if I had done those other steps before I registered Toronto Poets as a corporation in 2007, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have registered it as a nonprofit, and it wouldn't have cost me my house at 33 in 2010. You understand? So now,
Yes.
because I did those steps, I registered Dream Livers Club Incorporated in 2018 as a for-profit, right, corporation, and just me, because I want to make sure I have control. Somebody doesn't buy me out, like what happened with Twitter. So then the seventh step is you keep working your plan, continuously making adjustments until it works. And I just renovated the house that I bought for $500,000 in 2016, and I sold it for $1 million. Those are the 7 steps.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing again, Jason. Uh, so I, yeah, listened to you completely, and it was great. So I asked Jason, yeah. So if there is any young person who's into poetry, or who has this big dreams, and how to get there, right? So yes, I completely agree with the points he made. I really, really, I can pinpoint few of them just for you. So, target resume. You should have a target resume and have a long-term plan. So there are plenty of free resources once you have your plan sorted and have your resume sorted. Have your target resume sorted. So start networking. Strategize your job, and corporate it, and then continue to make adjustments. So that was valuable advice from Jason. Thank you so much. And Jason, if you have something more to say, you can join again, please. And again, yeah, we have Jason here. And first of all, I really, really want to thank all the listeners, and I hope uh, it's
Sure. Why don't you
within
tell
the.
me about your story? Where are you from? Like, what do you do, and what's your story? Because I've been on this app a long time. It's the first time I saw you. I'd like to serve everybody that I can, and this is some.
Yeah, I'm completely new to the platform. Yeah, sure. I'll share my story. I'm from India, so I'm born in India, and I'm still in India now. So I graduated in computing. I did my bachelor's in computing, and then I went to I went to Ireland. So I to pursue my master's in computing. So I did my computing course, and while doing that, I got into a part-time job in a restaurant. So I got into hospitality where I on a daily basis I was talking to people, serving delicious food, uh, attending their solving their problems in the restaurant. So I started off as a waiter, and then later on I ended up as an in charge of the place. We had two restaurants in Dublin, capital city of Ireland. So two Indian restaurants, and we were serving delicious konkani food. So to all our customers. So it was fun. So I really enjoyed my role. I got, I fell in love with my role, working in the restaurant, serving food, and speaking to people, uh, like different people all day long, every single day. So as I started to love my job, I actually punted my computing science. So even though there's a lot of money in computing, but I thought, okay, I'm really into hospitality, and I'll continue in this path. And I ended up becoming the manager of the place in Ireland, and I was doing well. Then the COVID happened, right? So 2020, COVID happened, and there is no more hospitality, and the restaurants went down, and I had to come back to India. I have my family here, so I came back to India. And again, as I said, there was no hospitality, there was no restaurants in here, and of course, I was far away from computing when it comes to programming standpoint. So I know the basics, I understand the coding and all, but again, I'm far away from becoming. I was really not into computing anymore. So I started off working as an HR and marketing for a startup in India. Now I'm working with Accenture. It's an Irish company again, as a HR practitioner. So I also on the side I run podcasts, and I actually I started off the podcast last year, so we had like more than 30 episodes now. So there were like four different shows on the same podcast. One involves guests, one involves they all these shows are I created them among my passion. So I like storytelling. So there is a show called Story Time with Aravind, where I write storybooks on my own, and I narrate them on the podcast. And I also have a show called Hard Yard, where I put my perspective, expertise in my own craft, hospitality, as well as HR, recruitment, marketing. And then we also have another show called Talking Optimism, where we invite guests. We have guest speakers speaking about their story, so struggles, and how they overcome them, how they overcame them, and how they sustained a healthy living. And we also have another show that's book reviews. That's called I forgot the name. So where I do book reviews, right? So I like reading books, so I review them, and I really felt that their book reviews are very helpful for people who were into reading books. So I started off a show where I do the book reviews.
Oh, that's good. I would love it if you could review my book. I've been looking for somebody to do a review on my book for so long. I was even offering it to them, paying them $100 to get it for $100. So basically, to give it to them for free if they do a book review. But what I wanted to ask you is that what you want to be doing a decade from now?
A decade from now, yes. I mean, I have a list actually, so I made a list. So I have a resume, as you said. So a decade from now, yes, I want to be in the space of podcasting where I'm speaking continuously around my interest. So books, as I said, I'm really into books. I believe in learning, and books are one source of learning. So definitely, I'm in there, and I will be doing storybooks because I had a good childhood basically. So good childhood in sense like I lost my parents when I was 7 and 10, but at the same time, I had this big family where my grandfather and grandmother, aunts and uncles, who brought me up, right? So they made sure I was not traumatized, right? So they made sure I'm having a very good childhood like everyone else. So so I really want to give back some of that I like through storytelling, right? So I write these storybooks for kids and I narrate them on the show. I remember my grandfather used to come up with stories every night, looking at the stars. He used to come up with a story. So that's why I'm doing it. So I'll be doing it for sure. So it is taking more time because I have to write the story and then narrate it. So it takes a little time, but again, I'll be doing it for sure.
That is so cool. My first book was, I wrote it in grade five, and it's a kid's book because I was a kid, right? And the thing is, it basically is the same thing that I realized that was my purpose because there's this little boy that came to a well. Okay,
Yeah.
and by the way, I'm going to introduce you to my web designer. His name is Vignesh. Whereabouts you live?
I come from South India. I mean India, southern part. It's called Hyderabad.
How far is that from Mumbai? He used to live in Mumbai, and then he moved a little bit away from Mumbai.
It's like few hours. Yeah,
Okay, so yeah, he lives there
Mumbai is
still.
in the middle.
He's planning to come
I'm
to
a little bit
Canada.
southern.
He's planning to come to Canada, but right now he's still there. So
All right,
I'll
that's
introduce
great.
you to him. But yeah, so the
Sure.
thing is, I met him on Clubhouse. So his name is Vignesh. But yeah, so what I was saying is, it's interesting because he did IT. I don't remember the name of his school, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
different schools. There's so much talent, especially in
There's
the
so many
in
universities in
the
India.
IT
Yes.
space in India. There's so much in the IT space. So yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll introduce you. But what I was saying is, if that's what you want to be doing already, then do you have it all together as one? So if did you already register it or do the research? You plan to have it as one company? Because like the thing is, I made mine one company, right? Penn's Power Club, and then I made mine one company, Dream Livers Company. So do you have it under one company? So 10 years from now, it'll be like one company, or do you not want it to be one company?
I want it to be one company, as you said. Yes. I mean, I want them all together for sure because they're all my interests. So I want them all together for sure, as you said. And when you brought the web designing thing, so I'm working on my website now. So yes, I'm with a web developer. So I'm working with him. So I'm setting up my site. So soon there'll be registration happening for sure. And yes, as I said, uh, I'd like to connect for sure. And I'm sure I'll be doing the book review. I'll be doing your book review for sure. So if you can please drop me the link, I'll be able to get that book and start reading very soon.
Oh,
And there will
wow,
be an
that's
episode.
amazing. You're the first person I found on the app that's willing to do it because it's just on my banner. And here's a tip for you that everybody listening can do. You know what you can do when you get your website done? You see my web necklace? Vignesh did this for me. You could probably, people could do it on Canva, but then when you have your website, you put it as your picture, your web necklace, and then you're just talking to somebody, they'll see your website. I've picked it up because on LinkedIn they put open to work, but I got let go in the pandemic and I hired myself. So I have open to
All right.
work. I have a lot of different web necklaces, but one of them is my company name, but this one is where you get the book. So I already answered your question. And when you get set up, especially if
Okay.
you're
Yeah.
older like me, you answer people's questions before they ask them. So all you do is go on that
That's
site,
great.
you
But
download
again,
it.
unfortunately, that's cool. But at the same time, it's just that I I'm missing couple of alphabets in there.
No
So if you
problem.
can
Yeah, I
spell it
know
for
because
me,
it's
please.
because of the star, because of the check mark. So it's
Yeah.
thinkfreely.net, but I'll send it to you. But because the thing is,
If
I'm
you can
willing to pay
spell it for
people.
me, I mean, if there's
You know,
anyone else listening, if they
yeah.
wanted to check it out.
Essentially what I'll be doing, it's THINK, right? Think, and then freely, spelled the way I spell free, PHREELY.net. The reason I spell free like that, when I went to buy freeshares.com in 1999, it was taken, and it wasn't on God's side like mine was fraud side. There was no free shares on there. So I knew because of my family name Humphreys, there were two ways to spell free. So I bought freehouses.com too, free everything.com, freecars.com, freehealth.org,
Understand.
Great.
freespeech.org, right? So I have a large collection of free websites in the world. And at that time, two kids sold one for $1 million. So I have a lot, but I'll get back to you.
Oh, that was nice speaking to you again, Jason. Yeah, sure. I'll be reading your book as well as I'll be reviewing my book for sure on the podcast for sure. And yes, uh, again, thank you so much for everyone listening. I'll each and everyone. Oh, Jason, Demetrius, Energy Lady, Nancy, and Ryan Pond, Annie, Ismail, Martha, Basha, Tony Rambles, Jensai, Chekras, and Curse Words podcast, and Lionel Bailey, Frankie J, Abraham, Shane Cottle, Andre James, Carl, Ryan Walsh, Alberto, Clint. Nice to see you again, Clint. Thank you so much. Alicia, Taylor Bridge, and Cecilia. Thank you so much again. Dr. Goodman, Kimberly, and everyone else. Thank you so much for listening. Again, we were talking about the uh, odds of making a living following your passion. Right? You could be into computing or painting, or you could be into photography or speaking, hospitality or web development, or creating content for social media or online gaming. So it could be any craft. So I believe that there are plenty of opportunity out there to sustain well without formal education. I'm not saying that formal education is not important, but again, if there is anyone, if they're not afford, if they're not afford, if they're, I mean, if it's not affordable, I believe that there is still a lot of possibilities with the help of the internet, the resources we have today online, and the way I really think it'll work is like the difference between a formal education and a free education, taking up a course online. uh, the way I see it is like when you go to college, yes, you have resources, you have your mentors, you have your teachers, or you have your uh, uh, like right library, and you have the resources. Along with that, you will have this large group of community who are like into the same craft, pursuing the same passion, will be able to share the same ideas, um, share the knowledge, right? So you can fall back once you're done with your college. You have your resources, you have your certificate. Along with that, you'll have this large group of people to fall back on for asking questions, what exactly is happening, how to get there, and you have these people. So when you take up a course online, all you have is like the certificate. So what what can you do to be able to equalize, right, equalize that much experience, that much of the feasibility you're getting from a formal education? So what I believe that if you're 35 plus, or if you're 45, if you're like irrespective of your age and gender, so once you have this passion in photography, so what I really think work is like take up the course online for free. There are plenty of very good resources, so that are really helpful in and worthy in the craft in of photography. And once you're done with your course, once you have the knowledge, and I really want you to network with people, attend events offline and offline, and make connections, and surround yourself with the people that are into the same craft, passionate about the same craft, or making their steps in the craft, so that you have these 300 people contact numbers on your phone to help as well as get helped. So networking, there is a misconception that networking is self-serving. Networking is never self-serving, it's always a win-win scenario. So once you strategize your networking, you will receive good results, making it a win-win situation. So yes, take up the course. Free courses are fine, and then network with people, go attend events. You can have fun in that events as well, make friends, and and sustain your career around the craft you love about. So that's what we're talking about. So if you have a story to share with us, like how you pursued your passion and turned into your business, or turned your got into your dream role, and if you have any suggestions or advice, how to do that in 2022, please join us and share your story, and we're all ears. And we had Dr. Rao and Jason today, and it was really, really uh, good interactions, I believe, and I'm happy to talk with them. And I really, really learned a lot. I mean, I took notes as well. I was taking notes when they're speaking, trying to learn something from it. Right? These people are like they accomplished a lot of things. So trying to learn things as well along while interacting with them. So yes. So if anyone's please join. If you have a story to share, we are all ears. You can join. And yeah, just about myself, I'll share again. So I'm from India, and actually, I think yeah, we have a guest today. Oh yeah, Jason's here. Thank you so much, Jason. So what I was telling is like, yeah, I'm in India. I think Wisdom is in like few countries. It's not in India, but again, we have a link. With that link, we can actually use the app, right? So yeah, that's how I'm using it. Yes, Jason, nice to
What
see you
you're
again.
sharing is so valuable. The thing is, people think that networking, they just get it wrong. They think that networking is about taking. I notice that people come to me sometimes, the younger people, and they're like, okay, can you teach me, can you do this? But you have to have a different mindset. You have to be about giving first, right? So you give first, and then things come to you, right? Because the thing is, if you go to somebody that's more experienced than you, so you're giving good value, right? You give first and see how. Now I want to pay you $100 to review my book. It costs $100, but you see, other people have to pay $100, right? Because it's a course, right? But I was
Yes,
offering everybody to pay. I was offering everybody to pay them $100, and then they say, "Oh, okay." And I say, but the book costs $100. When I got let go from my job in the pandemic, okay, at a software, I said, okay, I'm gonna have to put together all of my work. So I took all of my work since I graduated in '96, right, from high school, and I put it together, the best poetry with questions after. It's because, the best teachers, the best students ask the best questions, right? So I said, okay. I asked my a good question. And I said, look, how could I monetize everything that I've learned since high school? And I said, well, I've been writing poetry since high school, inspired different things, and then the different thoughts I had. So I put it all together, and then I asked questions after to teach the young people the 7 principles that won me 7 scholarships. Because I was already working with the young people. I was a teacher and a preacher. I was already a teacher in youth ministry. They made me minister of education at my former church. So I said I was helping the students with their work because I got 100% in grade 10 math, but it was only because in grade 9 I got 97%. And my dad was a scholarship winner, so he asked me what happened to the other 3. So I got 100% to make my father proud of me. My father taught me how to learn. My father taught me how to earn my degree in life, all the G. My father taught me how to see the goodness in his family and humanity. My father taught me how to live. My father taught me to forgive because he constantly had to forgive me. He taught me all that he could. And then he set me free to explore humanity, even though he knew I would die someday. Because humanity would not always be how we all knew that humanity should be. My father loved me and taught me how to love, but knew that humanity would not always be as loving as he was to me. So my father sacrificed me. My father set me free. My father taught me to love him, and even those who hated me as much as he loved me, and to do unto all as I would do unto me. My father on earth through my love, and the one that's up above. I thank my father. My father. So that was one of the poems. So I put it all together, okay, with another 20 something poems. And then I asked questions after, right? Because I realized not everybody had a dad that was a scholarship winner, okay? That challenged you, because people would say, oh, that's mad, that's mean, right? If you get 97% and you imagine your dad just asked you what happened to the other 3. So I really did get 97% in grade 9 math, and I really did get 100% in grade 10 math. But I realized not everybody had a dad that was there like that, or a mom that was there like that, because my mom was the nice one, even if I got 40%. My mom just just say, oh, well, as long as you try your best. Okay. But then my dad would be, look, I don't even know what happened if I got 40%. Okay. Look. But the thing is, it's good to have, that's why it's good to have a couple balance. And you probably, with your adoptive parents, you probably have balance, right? Maybe the adoptive mother is a certain way, and then the adoptive father is a certain way, right? So I don't know. Isn't it? Don't you think the balance is good? You don't want to have, like, maybe you don't want to somebody that's too hard. You don't want two parents that are too difficult, too challenging, or two parents that are too easy. Like, you don't do any work in school, you get like 30%, and both your parents say, "Oh, that's good, that's good, that's good, that's good." You don't even have to study as hard next time. Maybe you'll get 25. You know what I'm saying? I think it's good for balance, but I guess the point I was making is it wasn't a short point, but the networking, you give first and then you receive. If you just look to receive first, and people will be like, you have to work first and then you play after, right? Because if you play first and take first, you still have to work after, but you still fail. I tell the students all the time, if they play basketball when they're supposed to be doing their schoolwork, they come to the test, they
Mm-hmm.
don't know what it's on it, and then they fail the test, and then I make them stay after and still do it over instead of going and playing basketball, but they still fail. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm really, I agree with you. I mean, when you said a lot of people, a lot of kids don't have a father who got a scholarship, as you said, right? Yeah. So yes, it's good to have. I mean, when you said when you're talking about your father, yes, I really admire that. Yes, the parents are. Im- pa- Parenting is one of the things that helps kids attain everything, right? So the inner rich or external things, materialistic, it doesn't matter. But again, it's parenting that really is important when there's for the young minds, right? So the support and the care the parents give. So I have this storybook that's called Adventures of Riley and Coco. There's a point. I have this key takeaways at the very end. So that talks about parenting, right? So parents always love their kids. It's just that sometimes the way the parent might not might not be might not come off good. I mean, for if you're a kid, so it could be the problem of the way they are parenting. But again, it's not the parents. They always love the kids. They always love you. It's just that you'll have to understand their perspective. So so that's what they think is better for you. So if you're able to basically, yeah, we were talking when Mr. Raw was talking as well. So the kids have this passion for this some craft, and the parent will come up, especially happens in India. I'm really not sure whether it happens in US or not, even though Mr. Rao said it does. So yes, parents, as a parent, they want to put their kids in safe space, so they want you to become an engineer or a doctor for sure. And if you're passionate about any other craft, which we believe that doesn't serve you as good as these courses, they end up restraining, right? So restraining their kids. But it's changing. I can see there are a lot of people coming on social media with their passion for art, passion for sports, and they're making financial gains as well as they're doing their thing. They're happy about their work, so they're sustaining well. They're helping their parents as well. So
Hmm. Yeah, I think if parents understand the way that it used to work is not the way that it necessarily works now. There's some kids that are 19 doing a little video games thing and doing a video game business and making $1 million, right? So
yes,
because they didn't have that type of thing so before you had to get this profession to make that much money, but now I'll give you an example. My dad thought I'd make more money as a lawyer, so I got accepted to law school, and then I realized, wait, I don't want to I don't want to be a lawyer because I thought you could just be like Johnny Cochran. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. Always speaking to the jury. But they're actually, most of the time they spend reading, preparing to go to court. So I realized, did you know that Bill Gates' dad was a lawyer? Bill Gates Sr. was a lawyer. Bill Gates Jr. dropped out. Now people don't even know that Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft, is Bill Gates Jr., but his father's name is Bill. Did you know his father's name was Bill? He just passed away a little while ago.
No,
Okay,
I
trust
actually
me,
have.
this is true. So he's Bill Gates Jr. Yeah, actually, he might be Bill Gates the third, but while his father was alive, he was Bill Gates Jr. because his father's name was Bill. Both of them are
That's
Bill.
interesting.
Okay, so the reason why nobody else calls Bill Gates Jr. is because when you make that much more money than your father, they don't bother calling you Junior, okay? And
I
Bill Gates
understand.
dropped out, okay? And Bill Gates' dad was a lawyer. He was a good lawyer too. In a
Yeah,
profession, he was head of the bar, the association for his profession. So he wasn't even a lawyer that didn't do well or make any money. He got promoted as a lawyer, and he raised his son, but his son dropped out of Harvard. But look, so you don't have to do it the old way. That's the point. So parents need to give space for their kids to be who they are, and then if they show them, they can do both, right? They could do the thing on the side, and eventually, if they do it
that's
for,
really important. Yeah,
then
that's a good
they can
message you're
do the thing
saying.
full time. But if they stifle the kids will have mental health issues, and then they might actually, hurt themselves, try drugs, or even hurt themselves worse and end their life. So it's important for the parents not to do that.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I agree with you. Whatever you said, everything you said. Yes, parents. It doesn't need to be the old way. It's like now we now. I mean, like if you look back, like a decade back, there was no internet. There was no social. I mean, especially in India, it's not. It's not there everywhere. Now it's everywhere. Now we have social media experts, right? So now I believe that when we were when we were studying, when we were young, like 10 15 years ago, we just had Orkut or Facebook. So during those days, even for the last 10 years now, Facebook, or if you're browsing internet, if you're on Facebook, you're wasting your time. So that's the usual message we'll be receiving from parents. But again, it doesn't matter where they are, which platform they are, whether it's online or offline. It's all about what they're doing. They could be working along with their friends, or they could be connecting with few experts. They could be asking questions to the mentors. So they could be gaining knowledge. So it's all about what they're doing on the internet. And yes, so there was no internet like 25 years ago accessible to everyone, and there was no social media 20 years ago. There was no jobs, all these jobs now. How many people work for Facebook? How many people work for social media, like from technical background, from programming to service or marketing? It's a platform now. So we all these jobs we never thought of. As a parent, even though a very educated parent in India might have not might have not thought this way, right? It's all about it's all about I mean, we cannot always predict what's going to happen. So all these kids playing video games and streaming on YouTube or Discord or Instagram, it could become a sustainable craft for everyone else. I mean, everyone going up. We never know that. We're not sure that. We're not sure. It's a waste of time. So encourage the kids. Along with that, it would be better, as you said, as Jason was talking. Show them that they can do both. It's not like it's this or that. It's always this and that. Especially when you're that young, you have time and you have the like energy to do both. Like pursue your passion along with, especially because your mom and dad is paying for your all your like video games, all your stuff. So you'll have to do what your mom and dad is saying, as well as follow your passion. You can do both. Yes. So yes, Jason. So I believe that I'm. Hi, Jason. I really believe that I'm interpreting, or I'm sharing the message exactly accurately as you wanted me to,
Yes,
and
you're
as
doing
you.
so. This is such good advice because listen, I helped this young boy in Antigua, where my parents come from in the Caribbean. when I went there on vacation. Okay. And I was just getting my hair cut, and I was doing the Dream Decade Challenge, challenging people to dream big dreams for the decade, write them down and live them. So I said, what's your dream for the decade? Right now, his daddy was the barber, and
Mm-hmm.
he was about, I think, 16, 15 or 16. Okay, so he was in high school. Okay, and you know, he didn't answer in front of his dad, and it was cool. He didn't want to lie, right? But then when I was walking home to where my grandparents lived, he followed me because he saw me talking to the barber and everything. And he followed me. He said, "Sir, I didn't want to tell you because I wanted I want to be a rap and do video games. And I do." He says he can make video games, right? But his dad wants him to just do business, and he doesn't want to. He's already making money making video games, and he likes to rap, right? And I said, look, I don't think you have to do only one or the other, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you can make that a business. And I'm going to make video games, right? I'm going to change my books into video games. That's why I just got Assassin's Creed, because I went to the video game store and I bought a PS4, right? And so now it's my time that I'm free, financially free, to invest in making video games, right? I want to do a video game. I want to do like you go different times, and you get be Jesus in different times. So, but now I have time. I had that idea back when I was at Microsoft in 2004. So, but because I'm a businessman with a business plan, right? I know I can make it as a business, and then by the next decade, I'll be selling video games and doing movies. So I said, why don't you do both? Because you could still make that a business. And I said, and then when you have your business, right, you can rap and freestyle and flip it and rip it and show you are gifted. When you grab the microphone, you uplift your kids and listen. You can do that too because you are gifted too. This is how it come through as I walk to my grandparents' house with you. This is how it come every time, and I uplift you so you can still do the business and make video games every time, and then create, and then you can be great, and you can rap to it. You can flip it like that every time, what have you, whatever have you, like Aravind. That. Now I would do it every time I freestyle with raps. And he said, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, you can rap." I said, "Yes, but I also study business." And he said, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh." And he followed me all the way home for a half an hour from his dad's barber shop. And I just solved his problem because he didn't understand that he could do both because he's already making money creating. I don't know how it works. He knows more about the create. He does. Oh, I think he reviews
Yes.
video games. Okay, so he somehow they make money doing that. He reviews video games, and I saw his YouTube channel. He's already a genius doing all these things, and his dad just wanted him to stop and just do business. But if he tells his dad, I'm gonna make this a business, like the guy you cut the barber his hair. He said he started business. He made thing his business, and the thing is, now he'll have the passion to pay attention, which is the first principle of the 7 principles for life that won me 7 scholarships. Is pay attention. There's no such thing as smart or stupid. There's just paying attention and not paying attention. Paying attention is free, but it's more valuable than any course you could pay for. I got 100% in grade 10 math because I was paying attention. Yeah. So what do you think?
Yes.
Now he'll have
Yes.
more passion at in school.
Yes. True.
Sometimes
As
kids
you said,
don't
I
do well
mean,
in school because they have no
you,
passion. They don't understand how it connects.
yeah, you were able to tell that kid that he can. You were able to make him believe that he can do both, and that's when he's now the new door opened, right? So he was really not thinking it that way. So it was great to listen to your story again. I had the same experience, almost the same experience with another kid in India. So he was into online gaming, as you said. So he was playing a lot of games, and as a lot of parents in India, so his parents are supportive most of the times, but again they're like, no, they're like insecure about his passion and his career, right? So okay, I went up to this kid and I was talking about, like, he was not paying attention to any of us. He was on his
mobile playing the game and tab playing the game. So I showed him a picture, uh, like some of them, some of like an event that's happening in like Fortnite gaming world. So when I asked him about something, he paid me attention for 5 seconds, and then he was like feeling bad. And I asked him why. He said, "I lost my game. I lost my game." I told him, "Okay, that's fine. I mean, I heard that you're good at this game, but again, it's fine. I mean, if you if you're not able to get the time to play this video game, if you're feeling hectic with your college or with your school, uh, I believe that you can still follow the craft. You can still pursue passion like around it, and you can actually end up buying a, what do you call, a franchise, and you can make people play." And it was like, then he started paying attention. Then he was able to see that, uh, not just as a gaming, and see himself as not only a gamer but again a business person. Like, yes, you can build a franchise and you can have your own players. And he started off, he came to me and he was talking about all these stories where these people are, uh, like creating events, creating these tournaments where uh, gamers play and win money, right? So now he has a different perspective. He's not just looking at the gaming as a gamer, but also as a business person, as also as a franchisee owner for this firm and all. So yes, that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good when people figure out how what they're studying or what their parents are asking them can connect with what they want to do. It bridges the gap. And you see, sometimes in the school system, the teachers, because the teachers are basically, they went through the school system, sometimes they're not entrepreneurial, so they don't understand how to tell the kids. A lot of times they do, but sometimes they don't understand how to see the gift in the kid, or the young person, right? And see what their passion is and explain to them how to connect it. And then the parents don't know too, because maybe the parents were kind of like the way they were raised, they didn't have as many options. And like you said, they didn't have the internet. And they don't even understand. They don't maybe believe. And sometimes that's why I say the second principle is you have to believe, right? And I'm not just talking
Yes.
about believe in God because I'm a preacher. If you don't believe in yourself, it's going to be problems with your mental health, because when you are a certain way and you say you like the video games and then somebody says that has no value, or you're an artist and you can paint, or you do design, you do graphics, or some of the kids that maybe see, the thing is, if you say that same gift where they do maybe graffiti, and you say, listen, you could be a graphic artist and make millions doing that, then they'll say, oh. But if you just criticize them, say you can't do your math, you're not doing your math, you're not smart, you're dumb, right? Then they're like, oh, and they just destroy the gang, and then they'll just go and this just do all the graffiti everywhere, and they're talented, but because somebody said that they're not smart, right? And the thing is, what is smart? I'm saying that it doesn't mean anything. Look, somebody said, "Oh, this person." Look, some of those people that invented things because they thought in a different way. People said they weren't smart, and they had to believe in themselves. And if you see anybody that's done any amazing thing and went against the grind, like create an airplane, light bulb, they had to believe in themselves. Because if they didn't believe in themselves, when people said, oh, that's not going to work, what are you, crazy? How can you make a thing fly? It's heavy. Do you not understand gravity? You understand?
Yeah.
Then they'll just say,
Exactly.
oh, I must be
Yeah.
crazy. I just go
That's
back and do. You see what I'm saying? You have to believe in yourself because there's so much negativity. When somebody, especially when somebody's a little bit different, because the world attacks difference, but God in the market exalts it. You know how those people that are different, they end up changing the world because they think different. So at first, people will criticize them, but you have to recognize their difference, and that's what will make them change the world.
true, Jason. Once again, thank you so much. Yeah, you're sharing a lot of value for the listeners. Yes. At the same time, I also believe that yes, parents always love their kids. So the when they say you're not smart, you're dumb and all, it's all out of they're scared, right? They worry whether the child are going to end up a sustainable career or healthy living or not, healthy life ahead or not. So they're insecure a bit. So I understand that. So it's all, most of the times it comes from insecurity from a parent. But at the same time, I just want, if there is a parent listening, I really want you to, I have this, I understood this, the way we see now, we see media, right? You see a news channel, you could be like from any, you might follow anything or any type of belief you have these news channels, we watch, we consume news, and we believe that, right? So you could be watching different channel than what I'm doing, but we end up believing the news channels, media. So now parents are the media, parents are these news channels for the kids. So if you come to your kid and say that it's all negative out there, that's what they believe. If you come back to your home and say that there is no more opportunities, so that's what they believe. So that's what I mean. The way we believe news, the kids believe the parents. So I don't want to get into parenting advice. I'm not a parent at all, so I didn't even experience it myself. But this is all. It's not my own expertise. So I follow a lot of parents. I was interacting with a lot of them, and speaking to them. So it's their insecurity. That's when they get angry, and that's when they're yelling at their kids at times. Even in India, of course, I mean, we're not beating kids anymore, but again, uh, so the parenting is different. So everyone can do it different, but this one does really work. I see a lot of good happen when you believe that. As a mentor of the kid, you should understand that the parents aggression is out of insecurity. So if you're able to uh, make the parents believe that the child is going to be okay, sustain a good career, there'll be a lot of peace, and there'll be a lot of um, wellness at home, right? So we
I
have
think your
Jason.
advice is correct. I don't think it matters that you're not a parent. I just want to validate you. That's what all of the books say. Okay. So the thing is, a lot of times people discredit people's advice because they say, well, you're not a parent, or well, you're not a wife, or well, you're not a husband. So this is the thing, right? I base it on reading a lot of books from experts. So I read over 100 books. Like there's like the law of success, the law of happiness by Dr. Henry C. Cloud, the 7 habits of highly effective people, and there's one on parenting about raising successful teens. Now this is just something that's general for all people. People tend to treat people as they see the world and themselves. So the thing is, if somebody was not to really feel valued, it's going to be very hard for them if somebody doesn't love themselves, right? For them to not project that insecurity and that feeling of inferiority onto other people. So most of us, I always tell the parents, I encourage them, I said, look, nobody had perfect parents. Okay. So everybody, even if somebody didn't have parents, right, then of course, but then even if somebody had one parent, then they say, oh, well, you only had one parent. But if somebody had two parents, they still didn't have perfect parents, right? So everybody's recovering from imperfect parenting and then trying to be a perfect parent. So of course there's going to be gaps. So nobody should feel bad that they're not a perfect parent. There's no such thing, right? So the thing is, because nobody has perfect parents, we were all raised in some ways that were imperfect. Now, so it's hard to be a perfect parent when you didn't see it modeled. So therefore, you read about a lot of other people, how they overcame and understand how to balance, and then you take coaching. So that's why I can coach parents as some imbalances in how they parent, even though I didn't have perfect parents, and they're not going to be perfect parents, and they didn't have perfect parents, and nobody could have perfect parents, and there's not going to be any perfect parents. But you can still be better. So the idea that somebody said, well, nobody's perfect, that doesn't mean you should blow a whole world up. Okay, like there's levels of, you see what I'm saying? So
Exactly. True.
if a parent is physically abusing their child, and they buried two of their children in the backyard, that's a worse parent than
Exactly. Yes.
and they're worse than me, okay? Because I had kids that came to my program in a church, and none of them are buried because of me, okay? Now I said because of me because the sad thing, it just sounds. I said because of me because one of the girls, she was 15. I hadn't seen her for a while, and then we found out she jumped off a building. Okay, she
Oh my
jumped off a
God.
7-story building, and she survived because God was gracious, but she was very determined. That's why I tell people, look, you can. I don't even tell the young people you can do anything you put your mind to. I want to find out what they want to do because you see what I'm saying. Because she was determined,
Yeah.
and she jumped off a
True.
20-story building. They didn't. I didn't find out about the first jump. She had left the church, and for like months and months. But she was determined. Her parents tried to help her, but she was still depressed, and she was hanging out with the wrong people. They were probably like. I tell people, look, if you don't love yourself, right? And I say you separate from abusers and users. You love yourself, and then you set boundaries. If you set boundaries before you love yourself, the boundaries you set will be inside of you. And somebody might be the knife or taking pills, taking drug overdoses, but she was determined, and she jumped off at 20 something stories, and she died. And we went to her funeral, and I hadn't seen her in a long time, and that's why I always ask people how they are, and I asked them to answer honestly, because the last time I saw her, she said she was fine. Okay, so the thing is, sometimes she could have been fine and things happened and everything, or she could have just been lying because that's what people think that they're supposed to say. That's why I rank how good I am. Okay, so right now I'm an 8.5 out of 10 because I'm loving this conversation. I like that I met you. I found somebody that I can pay $100 to review my book for. That costs $100, and when you're giving so much value, and I really want to encourage parents so that they know how to encourage their kids so they don't end up jumping off of a building, because in the pandemic so many people had mental health and depression because they didn't just know how to adjust, and maybe they didn't have enough encouragement, right? And then they were stay working from home, they're not used to it, and they didn't know how to adapt. And being able to adapt, okay, is to adversity, is the most important skill in the world. And parents have to be able to adapt because maybe they were a certain way and their child comes out and their child's a different way. Or maybe they were a certain way. I saw somebody we were having a conversation about, corporal punishment, and one boy said, listen, my parents had to hit me up in the head for me to listen. So I think it's corporal punishment is good because he said I was just stubborn. I didn't listen. I said, listen, there's another way. He said there was no other way for him. He was going to join a gang, and he would have been rolling with a gang still. He was joining the gang, and he would have been rolling with a gang still if his parents didn't really, really use physical corporal punishment. I said, listen, there must have been another way. I said, don't tell me that they had to slice you for you to not run with the gang and slice people. That I said there must have been another way. Now maybe that's the way that you see that they chose, and you think that that's the way that worked. But there was another way that could have worked. There must have been. But even so, that doesn't mean that that's what parents should do, because the studies have shown that it has the reverse effect if you physically abuse your children. Even if you do hardcore spanking, they actually did studies, and more of the people in prison were physically spanked. This was a study that was like a Harvard study or something. And more of the people that actually did successfully in their careers were never spanked. And I was surprised because I thought it would just be the people that did excessive, too much physical, too much corporate punishment. But no, they just said the studies actually showed any corporal punishment, any spanking, The kids that were never spanked, on average, I'm not saying that there aren't some world, changers. Like, I don't know if Kofi Annan was spanked. I don't know if Mother Teresa was spanked. I don't know if Nelson Mandela was spanked, right? I'm reading his book now, A Long Walk to Freedom. But the point is, studies over on average show there are better outcomes. And this is why. They said why. Because if they have an artificial punishment for doing something wrong that's physical, then they don't understand the intrinsic value of doing something right and the intrinsic value of doing something wrong. The
That's a
example,
very good one. Yeah,
the
I
intrinsic
believe that.
value, right? So when I got bad marks, I was I was upset because I figured, what would I waste my time studying for? And if I get bad marks and I keep getting bad marks, I'm not going to be able to succeed at school, and my parents aren't going to be pleased. I'm not going to be able to then achieve what I want to achieve in life because
Yeah,
I'm not learning how to learn. That was the
there was
intrinsic
there was there
reason.
was an interesting point you made. I just want to acknowledge that, Jason. So you were talking, right? So it was really important that parents, to, physical abuse is definitely showing negative results. So there is a lot of what not to do, but there is very less what to do. So it's, I mean, if you're only listening to what's not good and what's the wrong thing that's going to happen, it doesn't serve as much as what good can happen and what to do. So if you give advice about what to do and how to achieve things and how to behave and how to sustain a good life, that's very much important, and that's very much uh, helpful and effective, rather than just scaring people, or you're scaring kids about what not to do and what what's wrong going to happen. And instead of scaring, it's more effective to show the positive side, to do for doing good and for doing better and for doing well, for being kind and for being friendly with everyone else and being kind to elders. So if you show that side, it would be very much effective, as Jason said. Thank you so much.
Exactly. Then, you know what I say? Look, if you work first, you get to play after. So if you do a little bit better next time, then you'll feel so great. Like when I finished an exam, I was like, oh, I finished an exam that I studied for. To be like, yes, I aced it, I flipped it, I ripped it, I show you I am gifted. I come out of the exams at university and I'd be freestyling. When I studied,